What if the one thing you have been searching for your whole life was sitting in a drawer, in a house you walked past every single day, hidden, waiting, just a few steps away? Today, I am going to tell you a story about a young woman named Mira. She thought her life was ordinary. She thought her past was closed. But one afternoon, she found a letter. And that letter did not just change her day. It changed her entire life. So please stay with me until the end, because what she learned might be exactly what you need to hear today. Let me tell you about Mira. Mira was 28 years old. She lived in a small apartment in a crowded city. She worked as a teacher at a local school. Every morning, she woke up, made tea, walked to school, came back, ate dinner alone, and slept. Day after day, same routine, same silence. She was not unhappy, but she was not truly happy either. You see, Mira had a wound that never fully healed. She grew up in an orphanage. She never knew her parents. The only thing she had from her past was a small metal box. The orphanage warden gave it to her when she turned 18. Inside that box, just one thing: a photograph of a woman, young, smiling, holding a baby. On the back of the photograph, someone had written 2 words, asterisk. For 10 years, Mira kept that photograph in her cupboard. She looked at it sometimes, on her birthday, on lonely nights. She would ask herself the same questions. Who was she? Why did she leave me? Did she ever think about me? But she never searched for answers, because searching meant hope, and hope can hurt more than silence. So she lived, quietly, safely, until one ordinary Tuesday afternoon. It was a rainy day. School closed early. Mira came home, changed her clothes, and decided to finally clean the old cupboard in her bedroom. The cupboard had belonged to the previous tenant, an old woman who had lived in that apartment for 30 years before she passed away. Mira never bothered to clean it properly. But that day, she did. She pulled out old newspapers, broken buttons, empty boxes. And then, at the very bottom, under a loose piece of wood, she found something. An envelope, yellowed, faded, no stamp, no address, just 2 words on the front, written in shaky handwriting. For Mira. Mira's hands started shaking. Her name, written by a stranger, in a house she did not grow up in. She sat on the floor, opened the envelope slowly, and pulled out a letter. The paper was thin. The ink was old, but the words were clear. And this is what the letter said. My dearest Mira, if you are reading this, then I am no longer in this world. And that means you have finally come home. You don't know me, but I have known you your whole life. I am not your mother, but I was the woman who lived next door to your mother. I watched you grow from a baby into a little girl. I held your hand when you learned to walk. I wiped your tears when you fell. And then, one day, your mother had to leave. She was very sick. She had no money, no family, no one to take care of you. So she made the hardest choice of her life. She left you at the orphanage because she wanted you to have a chance, a better chance than she could give you. Before she left, she came to me. She gave me this letter and asked me to keep it safe. She said, one day, my Mira will come looking for the truth. When she does, give her this. I waited for you for 30 years. I never moved from this house because I promised her I would be here when you came. Mira, your mother loved you more than words can say. She did not abandon you. She sacrificed herself for you. And her last word on this earth was your name. Please forgive her. And please forgive yourself for thinking you were unwanted. You were always wanted. Always. Mira read the letter 3 times. The first time, she could not see the words because her eyes were too full of tears. The second time, she read slowly, holding her breath. The third time, she whispered to herself, she didn't leave me. She loved me. And then Mira did something she had never done before. She cried, not silent tears, not the polite crying she had learned in the orphanage. She cried like a little girl, loud, messy, broken, and free, because for 28 years she had carried a weight, the weight of thinking she was not enough, that she was left behind because she was unlovable. But that letter, those old, faded words, lifted that weight. That night Mira could not sleep. She kept reading the letter again and again, and she realized something important. The letter was not just from her mother's neighbor, it was from the universe, a reminder that some love never leaves. It just waits, patiently, for the right time. Mira decided to find her mother's grave. It took her 2 months, but she found it, a small, unmarked stone in an old cemetery. She sat there for hours, and she said these words out loud. "Ma, I forgive you, and thank you for giving me life, for giving me a chance, and for never forgetting me." Today, Mira is 35 years old. She still lives in the same apartment. She still teaches at the same school. But she is not the same woman. She smiles more, she cries less alone. And she keeps that letter in a small frame next to her bed. Every morning she reads the last line of the letter, "You were always wanted." Always. So here's the moral of the story. And please, listen to this carefully. So many of us walk through life carrying invisible wounds, thinking we were abandoned, thinking we were not good enough, thinking that someone's absence means we were unloved. But sometimes the truth is the opposite. Sometimes people leave not because they don't care, but because they care too much to let you suffer with them. Mira spent 28 years feeling unwanted, and all along a letter was waiting for her, just a few feet away, just one decision away. Now, let me ask you something. What letter are you waiting to find? What truth are you afraid to search for? Maybe it's not a paper letter. Maybe it's a conversation you never had, a question you never asked, a forgiveness you never gave yourself. But here is what Mira learned. You don't have to wait for a letter to arrive. You can write your own. Write this down today. I am wanted. I am enough, and my past does not define my future. Say it out loud, even if your voice shakes, especially if your voice shakes. Mira once told me, the letter didn't change my past. It changed how I carry my past. And that is the real miracle. Not erasing the pain, but finally understanding it. So go ahead, search for your letter, or write it yourself. And remember, you are always wanted. Always. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Subscribe if you want more stories that heal, not just entertain. And as always, take care of yourself, because you matter.